Hands up if you think medicine is the weirdest career you'll ever see in your entire life. Weirder than anything else, really. No, for a real note, medicine is just weird. It's mind-boggling. It makes you question your whole reality. It makes you question your whole existence. I think medicine really makes a lot of sense. Let me just double check if I'm focused. I really need to get a self-focusing lens. I think I was in focus and now I'm out. Give me a second, yo. There I am, back in focus. But yeah, medicine, okay. Back to the point. Why is it so weird? Well, first and foremost, it's not really just a science. It's not like a book where you read it and everything, you got all the information there. It's quite, obviously the information is important and you have to apply the information properly and appropriately to each patient. But then the information you have gathered from all these books and the information you've gathered from working inside hospital, you apply differently and weirdly to each patient. And this is where it becomes a creative art. It's where you have to think outside the box and how you sort of work around each problem that you see. So you can read a textbook, a presentation of a certain condition, and you know how to treat it from the textbook, but in real life it's completely different. You may be thinking, what the hell am I on about? This is a weird ramble, yada yada yada, that I'm going through. But let me give you a quick anecdote of why medicine is just completely, it's in a league of its own. Okay, so imagine this, 32-year-old male comes in, this happened quite a few weeks ago, but 32-year-old male comes in with profuse nosebleeds, epistaxis, and it's quite bad. First and foremost, what you do is you give the patient some packing, and you hope that, the packing will stop the bleeding. However, after a bit of a while, you put the packing in, and the bleeding carries on. Now, obviously, you don't want the patient to carry on bleeding because it's quite bad. If they're losing blood, well, hemodynamic instability, yada yada yada, the patient can turn to quite bad quite quickly. So how do you overcome this? Well, it's quite simple. You have to sort of find a way to stop the bleeding. And the best solution for this patient is to sort of, they refer them to ENT, and they can find where the bleeding is, and then they can cauterize this. So literally just burn the little bleed areas so they stop bleeding. Because your nose is full of blood vessels, they have to figure out where it's coming from so they can shut down the little bleed areas. But in the meantime, you also have to sort of wait for the patient to be okay before you send them to ENT. Because this patient came into A&E. So it takes quite a while to go from A&E to ENT, especially in a hospital that doesn't have ENT, so they have to be transferred by ambulance. You don't want them to be bleeding the whole time, do you? Exactly. So what they did throughout this is, it was quite a funny story. So I'm not sure if you guys know what Foley's catheter is, but a Foley's catheter is, as the name suggests, it's a catheter that goes inside your pee-pee. So up your pee-pee into your bladder. And what they're used for is for people who need the catheter to take the urine out of their bladders, either because they're retaining the urine or because they're going to surgery, yada yada yada. Long story short, it doesn't go up your nose. But this is where medicine is an art and you have to think outside the box when you're treating each patient. They use a Foley catheter and put it up both of his nostrils. Why, you may ask this? Well, it's quite simple. They couldn't really figure out where the bleeding was, and then the packing wasn't stopping the bleeding. So what do? They put in these catheters and they inflated them, because what the catheters have, even though they're a tube that goes inside your bladder and then they suck all the pee-pee out by just letting it drain out, you need to keep the catheter inside the bladder. And the way it does that is got a little balloon that you fill up with air. Now you fill that up with air inside the nose, and then it blocks all the vessels. It pushes on them, constricts them. So this patient had Foley's catheters, pee-pee catheters, up the nose. Imagine a medical student seeing that, or even a junior doctor that's never even heard of it, seeing that for the first time and thinking to themselves, what? Because that was me. It's completely weird. So why is this so important? Well, I'm saying this because, yes, last week I made a video called Medicine is Boring. Here is the antagonist to this video. Medicine is flipping awesome and fun. It's so weird. No 2 days are the same. You get to do so much and learn so much. It's unbelievable. And honestly, me just watching that, I wasn't even really involved because the doctors had to put it in specifically and they had their own little techniques. But me just watching it and just being amazed was spectacular. It was like going to a theater, an old school theater, but more fun. And literally just watching doctors having a blast and you're just seeing them like, oh wow, this is actually quite fun. But yeah, if you think that medicine is boring, it is not. You get to do so much different stuff and all of them are so weird and you're constantly learning. There's always something new that you've never even heard about that you will see inside a hospital. And really, this is one of the reasons why I picked medicine over other careers. The rest of the careers, they're just bookworm careers. It's kind of boring. Here, I am an artist. I like to be creative. I like to think outside the box. Medicine allows you to do that. So I hope you guys understood how wonderful medicine is just by how weird it is from this weird little vlog. Honestly, if you're apprehensive about doing medicine, well, here is a top tip for you. Awesome stuff happens. You're gonna enjoy it. Adios, y'all, and good night. Just as soon as my windows went to sleep. See y'all.